The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
If it hadn't been for you, I would be now in someone else's digestion.
You know there's something you should know, so I'm gonna tell you so.
It's Bad Movie Month on the Cellcast.
Don't sweat it, forget it, enjoy the show.
Working all day, now it's time to unwind. Kick back, relax, take a load off your mind. I'll be busting the moves and I'll be busting the rhymes. We'll be busting up laughing cause it's party time. Everybody's feeling fine cause it's party time. Party time, party time. Everybody's feeling fine cause it's party time. Party time, party time. Everybody's feeling fine cause it's party time. Party time, party time. Everybody's feeling fine cause it's party time. Party time, everybody's feeling fine cause it's party time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who, he's just wanting a new home. Welcome, Jacob.
Why, thank you. Dylan here's our co-host. A man who just wants his own personal lemming. Welcome, Drew.
I mean, they just pop up when you never have to worry about breaking them. They're like tribbles, but with faces.
Yeah.
Scary enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course, we're still in Bad Movie Month here on the Cellcast. And today we are reviewing Norm of the North.
Help.
Of the ones we reviewed so far, this is only the second one that has made it into an American theater.
Yes.
This will change next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a interesting movie.
And yep. Yeah.
Technically,
Yes, it is a movie
yeah.
that
So-
was initially supposed to be a home release.
That's what I understand.
Yeah. Apparently that was the thing.
So why don't we go ahead and jump into our spoiler-free thoughts on this?
Exactly.
Certified fresh and spoiler free.
Yeah, this is my first viewing of this. I did not watch it when it came out because I saw the trailers and thought, what were they thinking? But I did not the one who put this one on the list. That was Jacob.
That was me.
He only got one movie on the list this year on Bad Movie Month. Not because of things, but we had guests and such.
Yes.
So we actually, both of us only really got one.
Yeah, which is totally fine with me.
But yeah, it's not horrendous.
No, it's not.
It is not Leo the Lion.
Oh, dear Lord, it's not.
In some ways,
But it's still bad.
it's in some ways I don't think it's as bad as either Titanic film. In
Ooh.
some ways,
Ooh, those are interesting words.
it's not even as bad as Food Fight, but it is very cheaply animated.
Oh, so cheap. $16 million for a budget.
yeah, the story leaves a lot to be desired. Not
Just-
that it's bad,
just
but
a
it's
little.
like it needs some work. And the
Mhm.
comedy,
Oh,
they
gosh.
need an actual comedian to actually look over the script because I don't think they did.
Yeah, it's so cringy.
I don't even think they must have shown this to anybody to find out if this was even funny to begin
They
with.
probably didn't.
No, because this feels like it was cranked out and put on theaters without really even anyone looking at it. They just thought, oh, we're making a straight to DVD film. We're putting it in theaters. Oh, you are? Cool.
Mm.
Y'all want to look at it first? Nah, we'll just put it in theaters.
Well,
Okay.
that kind of sounds reminiscent of Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, because initially,
Except that was well made.
oh yeah, I agree. I'm not making a comparison to how good these films are, but it was the fact that Phantasm was supposed to go just to DVD
Mhm.
and home video, and then Warner Brothers decided, oh, we want another Batman release, so they cranked up the animation and made this fantastic film called Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go watch this film. Unlike this film.
Yeah. This feels like what Hollywood producers think is funny and think is entertaining
Mhm.
and think that adults will just leave their kids in front of it for the movie to babysit them. And the thing is, I actually have no idea if that was ever done with this film, because I'm going to feel bad for the kids who were raised on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Barney was more entertaining.
Oh, you're not kidding. You are
So-
not kidding.
Yeah. What are your spoiler-free thoughts?
My spoiler-free thoughts on this film. First, this is my first viewing, and most likely last viewing.
Amen to that.
If you know, our by the grace of God, this show continues to the year, you know, for years on, that maybe down the line we'll have to re-review it.
That's only going to have to happen if we change the format of the show again.
That is true.
And that's probably not going to happen, because I think we are comfortable with this one.
Yes,
since
we are.
been in this format for what, 3 years?
3 years.
It's all but like the first 15 films, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
But either or, did I like this film? No, did not like this film at all. Is it serviceable in some ways? Yes. Is it terrible in others? Quite yes. Would I recommend this film to anybody? No, unless you are just so interested in like the insanity of the story and plot. Be like, by all means, go torture yourself on Netflix right now until October.
you still can.
While you still can, apparently on October. It's there. So if you want to go see a cringeworthy movie, go watch it on Netflix. We're just warning you, it's not good.
Nope.
Fair warning. It is not good. Big warning. If we had a warning, it'd be like flashing right now. But yeah, I don't like this film. I don't. I can see maybe where there's some things where there was some tangible things there, but it's just not good.
Mhm.
Not a good film. But yeah, that's my spoiler-free thoughts.
All right, then let's get into the spoiler-filled section of our review for Norm of the North. The following is a spoiler-filled review for the film Norm of the North. Listener discretion is advised. Norm of the North was directed by Trevor Wall, who directed 18 episodes of Sabrina, Secrets of a Teenage Witch. That was the sequel to the animated Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Huh.
And Lisa Ortiz was the voice director, who also was the primary voice director for the Pokemon anime.
Really?
Like, that's like 90% of her IMDb is the Pokemon anime,
Wow.
including movies. It was written by Malcolm T. Goldman,
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Altier, and Daniel Altier. For the cast, we've got Rob Schneider as Norm, and he was Fergie in Judge Dredd.
Oh yeah, I remember that performance. Oy.
Heather Graham as Vera, and she played Judy Robinson in 1998's Lost in Space.
I do remember that film. I remember enjoying that film
Mm-hmm.
for what it was.
Ken Jeong played Mr. Green, and in Scoob, he played Dynamite.
That's right. He did play Dynamite in that film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a far better role than this film.
Oh, yeah. Bill Nighy was the voice of Socrates. Not Socrates. That's a better film.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I totally forgot that's no Bill Nye.
Bill Nighy, yeah.
Yeah, Bill Nye.
He was Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Colm Meaney was the voice of Grandfather Polar Bear, and he played Miles O'Brien in Star Trek, aka the most important man in Starfleet history, according to Lower Decks.
Oh, okay, that's right.
This is why he was trying to get out of the Star Trek casting. What do you call that? Where they typecasting? Typecasting.
Mhm.
Loretta Devine was the voice of Tamesia, and she played Marla Hendricks in Boston Public. And Michael McElton was Lawrence the actor, the one that they got to pretend to be Norm and the thing.
To pretend to be Norm.
Yeah, and in both Justice Leagues, as in the theatrical cut and Zack Snyder's 4-hour marathon, He played Black Clad Alpha, whoever that was.
No clue. Haven't seen the film
Uh,
yet.
You want to guess Kingdom Hearts connections?
Well, according to what you said last week, it's a lot higher.
We are making up for the last 2 weeks having none.
So I'd probably say like 6.
Higher.
Higher. 9?
Yes.
Whoa. Okay.
Now,
well, that makes sense.
in all fairness,
Yeah.
your answer of 6 would have been correct had I not included Smash Brothers.
Fair.
So starting from the top, Jess Harnell played a male tourist, and he was Dr. Finkelstein and Locke in Kingdom Hearts.
Really?
Ben Diskin played Chef Kozawa, the sushi chef, and he is young Xehanort in Kingdom Hearts.
Huh.
Keith Ferguson was a tourist, and he was Marluxia in Kingdom Hearts, one of the Organization 13. Nick Shakur was one of the costumed bears, and he was an additional voice in Kingdom Hearts. Peter Michael, it's Piotr, so that Peter? It's basically not Pietro.
Oh, that's right.
Because
that's a different.
It's Russian, so it's Piotr. Piotr.
Piotr.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. He was additional voices in this, but he played Sarge in Kingdom Hearts 3. Doing his best R. Lee Ermey.
Oh, okay. Cool.
J.K. Bowes was the female tourist, and she was additional voices in Kingdom Hearts. Kate Higgins, who voiced Elizabeth, the polar bear love interest.
Oh, gosh. The story that goes nowhere.
Mm-hmm. And she was the singer of the song Jump Up Superstar and Break Free, Lead the Way, originally shown in Super Mario Odyssey, but plays in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Interesting.
Mela Lee was additional voices in this, and she played a character named Tiki from the Fire Emblem series in Smash Brothers. Lastly, Lisa Ortiz, the voice director of this film, is the voice of Oshawott and Fletchling, 2 Pokemon in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Okay, cool.
So that's what I got. Kingdom Hearts connections. What do you have in info and stuff?
All right, so info and stuff. It has an IMDb score of 3.4 out of 10. It's available to watch currently on Netflix until October. So if you want to watch something very cringy and not so good, go watch it right now on Netflix as Drew walks behind me.
Ignore me.
All right, production is Lionsgate, Splash Entertainment, Assemblage Entertainment, and Teliga. I'm probably mispronouncing that. So there's a lot of stuff stirring up. Anyways, let's see. It was distributed by Lionsgate, released on January 15th, 2016 here in the United States, and March 18th of the same year in Ireland. Box office. It had an estimated budget of $7 million. Somewhere it's 17, sometimes it's 16, whatever. Its opening weekend here in the United States and Canada was $6.8 million on June 17th. Its US gross and Canada gross was $17 million. Its international gross was over $330 million. So yeah, this movie that doesn't do very well, is not very well done at all, made some money. That's why it has 3 sequels.
Well, it didn't take much investment.
No, it didn't. Oh my gosh. All right, so getting into home release. Norm of the North. Norm of the North was released on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital HC on August 19th, 2016.
I'm really glad you said that, because I was afraid you're going to say it was released in 4K, and I would have gone, why?
No, just HD.
It doesn't. This one doesn't need to be 4K.
No, and
There's
plus,
not
have
that
you-
many pixels.
And have you seen the backgrounds?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Oh
We'll
my-
get there. We'll get
yeah,
there.
we'll get there when we get there, right? So, sequels. There are 3 of these things, people. 3. And there's 2 shorts.
Of course, there's 2 shorts.
There's 2 shorts. All right.
Lionsgate's trying to milk this sour
Oh,
milk as far as it
it's-
can go.
It's like a. Is it Illumination who does this?
No, this is not Illumination.
No. I'm not saying that. Be like it's hold on, DreamWorks.
This is not DreamWorks.
I know that, but I'm referring to the reference. They milk everything to death.
Everybody
Well, that's true.
well, except Pixar. Pixar actually doesn't milk that
Pixar
much.
has
DreamWorks does.
Yeah, DreamWorks. That's what I'm referring.
And
to.
Illumination. They've kind of with the Despicable Me Minions stuff, but that's it.
Yeah, that's it. All right. So prior to the
Blue Sky actually did a lot of milking with Ice Age.
That's right. They did. That is right. All right. So prior to the official release of Norm of the North, 2 45-minute direct-to-DVD sequels were announced, titled Norm of the North, Back to the City, and Norm of the North, The Arctic All-Stars. On January 22nd, 2018, it was announced that production of a sequel published by Assembly Entertainment along with Splash Entertainment, Lionsgate, and DFG Family had begun. The resulting film, called Norm of the North, Keys to the Kingdom, was given a limited theatrical release on January 11th, 2019, with a home release on February 12th, 2019. In 2019, 2 more sequels were announced. Norm of the North, King Size Adventure, and Norm of the North, Family Vacation. Norm of the North, King Size Adventure was released on DVD, DVD, Blu-ray, and digital on June 11, 2019, and Norm of the North, Family Vacation was released on DVD, digital, and on demand. This one didn't get a Blu-ray. On demand on February 25th, 2020. The only returning cast member was Maya May of Return of the Sequels, and Norm was voiced from then on by Andrew Thoth, I believe I'm pronouncing his name. So that's all I have for info and stuff.
Getting into the summary, Norm, a polar bear, is the son of the king of the Arctic. In his youth, he realizes his ability to speak to humans, a trait only shared by his grandfather. Because of this, he is made an outcast from the other animals, only being accepted by Socrates, a wise seagull, and Elizabeth, a female polar bear whom Norm is in love with. Years later, Norm's grandfather has become the world's most famous polar bear, and human tourists are filling the Arctic. When did that happen?
I'm about to say, when did that happen?
Socrates shows Norm and 3 Arctic lemmings a luxury condo that has been installed on the ice. Inside the condo is Vera, a representative for wealthy developer Mr. Green. After Norm saves Vera from an avalanche, she tells him to find an actor to play a polar bear for his campaign. Norm denies this, but Norm denies this, but soon falls in love with Vera, much to the jealousy of the lemmings? What?
Where is this in the film?
I would love to know that. Wikipedia, what are you smoking?
Yeah, that says nothing to do with this film. Okay. Awkward.
Yeah. When his grandfather embarrasses him in front of the sea lions, his grandfather is not there.
What in the
This
world?
is his uncle or brother.
Yeah, it's his brother.
Yeah. For the sea lions, Norm chases a boy named Pedro, who then discovers Norm. But just before Pedro and Norm could get together, Norm is tranquilized.
What?
Wait a minute.
No, that's not the film.
Hang on.
Yeah, back up. Back
Something
up.
here is weird.
Tell me what you're gonna do now. The world.
I'm going to Wikipedia. I'm wondering if I accidentally got one of the other ones and
Maybe. Because that's not the movie I watched. I was like, when did Norm get tranked?
no, this is exactly what is listed in Wikipedia's thing.
What in the
So
world?
I'm going to continue reading this.
Even though it's completely inaccurate.
When his grandfather embarrasses him in front of the sea lions, Norm chases a boy named Pedro, who then discovers Norm. But just before Pedro and Norm could get together, Norm is tranquilized and taken away from the Arctic, leaving.
That's not the movie we watched.
More free service reviewer has come to New York City as well, but Lemmings discover a filming studio and they go in. However, a man wearing. Norm manages to regain. Who is Pedro?
Exactly. Who is Pedro?
This Pedro is playing a major role in this thing, according to this. In the city, Norm pretends to be an actor and auditions for Pedro's commercial and is taken to dinner by Vera. No, that's got to be like the sequel or something.
It's got to be the sequel. Has to
But
be.
this is on Norm of the North. This shows you how bad this film is. They can't even keep the Wikipedia article on it straight.
Okay, so here's the one that's a little more.
Yeah, give me IMDb's.
IMDb's is when a real estate developer invades his Arctic home. Norm and his 3 lemming friends head to New York City, where Norm becomes the mascot of the corporation in an attempt to bring it down from the inside and protect his homeland. That sounds a little better.
But who's Pedro?
Yeah, there's
Now I want to know who Pedro is.
maybe watch the sequel.
You know what's funny? Pedro's not even listed in the cast list below it. Somebody, I think, copied the wrong one over into Norm of the North.
I think so.
So now I am curious. Is there a link to a sequel on here? No, I don't think there is.
Yeah, but there's 3 sequels, people. 3. Uno, dos, tres.
So my guess is what happened here.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea if this is true. My guess is there was another article for whatever number Norm of the North 2 was called.
Mm-hmm.
It had a much better. It had a thing, but they decided didn't make sense to have 2 Wikipedia articles for this franchise. So they tried to combine it, and someone put the wrong plot in the plot.
Yeah.
Or
heck, even the one from Netflix is better. When a greedy developer wants to build condos in the Arctic, a polar bear by the name of Norm travels to New York City to find a way to save his peaceful homeland.
either that,
A little better.
either that's what happened, or somebody has vandalized the Norm of the North Wikipedia article, and nobody's caught it until today. And I ain't changing it. So why don't we go into the trivia? How about that?
Yeah, let's go into
Trivia for this one. Chicago comedian Matt Byrne did a performance art piece claiming he directed this film until he received a cease and desist letter.
Why would you take credit for
Don't
directing the
know.
film? Why?
Production on this took 6 years with several delays and rewrites. The first draft of the script had several references to Happy Feet. Studio execs worried the film was too similar and ordered the writers to rewrite the entire film.
Surprise. Hold on. What? Say that one more time.
The first draft of the script had several references to Happy Feet 2006.
Oh.
Studio execs worried the film was too similar to that film and ordered the writers to rewrite the entire thing.
Couldn't they get a bunch of different writers or better writers? Maybe we got some common sense.
They probably didn't, because this film was originally going to be straight to DVD before the studio decided to put it in theaters. Why, Lionsgate? Why?
Warner Brothers, you are not.
I disagree with this particular piece of trivia, but I'm going to read it anyway.
Okay.
The North in this film's title is the Canadian Arctic.
Well,
they said it was the polar north, the Arctic itself, not the Canadian.
that is true, but just for maybe more clarification, how these people come down to get to New York, be like, yeah, you're having to go around Canada.
Yeah, but
yeah,
you got to, but that's assuming you are coming down through Greenland.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to point out that the distance between Greenland and Canada is fairly small.
True.
And
And
only recently got an official border, like in the last 2 years.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Gotcha.
Rob Schneider's third time. This is Rob Schneider's third time voice acting in a theatrical film
Mm-hmm.
after 8 Crazy Nights in 2002 and The Reef in 2006.
Really?
This is Bill Nye's 5th animated film after Flushed Away in 2006, Astro Boy in 2009, Rango in 2011, and Arthur Christmas, also in 2011. This is Ken Jeong's 5th animated film after Despicable Me in 2010, Despicable Me 2 in 2013, Turbo in 2013, and Penguins of Madagascar 2014. This film reunites Star Trek Deep Space Nine actors Colm Meaney, who was Chief Miles O'Brien on that show,
Right.
and Salome Jens. I didn't catch who she played in Norm, except for maybe additional voices.
Mhm.
But in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, she was the leader of the female. Well, she was the female changeling, is how she's credited.
Okay.
But for those who don't know who that is, that was basically the leader of the Dominion, who the Federation was in a war with for the last 4 seasons of that show. So, main villain, maybe.
Maybe.
But that's all I've got in trivia. Do you have a like for this film?
I do actually.
Okay. What is your like for this film?
Okay. My first
Your
like,
first like.
my first like, it concluded. I'll be like, I'm watching this film and being so bored from its lackluster storytelling and animation to whole enchilada. They're like, this movie is not funny at all. It's supposed to be funny. It's not. So the entire time I'm sitting there, it's like, when is this thing gonna be over? And it finally concludes. I'm like, it's over. I can go watch something else. So that's like, it ended. What is your first? It's like, if you have one.
My first like for this film, they didn't kill Grandpa.
You like that? That they didn't kill him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the thing. They introduce him in the beginning,
Uh-huh.
and then they say he disappeared. I'm thinking, okay, did he die?
Oh, in that
Did
regard.
he run off?
Mm-hmm.
Was he a sleaze bag and they just don't want to say that in a kid's film? And if so, why did you include that in there? But I kept thinking, okay, somehow we're going to have to run into it at some point. Otherwise, this is going to be a stupid plot point to bring up as to why Norm and why the Arctic people feel this way about not caring about what happened to what grandfather said.
Yeah.
So the fact that logically he's in New York, which makes sense. 2, since he was captured by Mr. Green, which admittedly doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense either.
But the fact that Norm is able to have the intelligence and to use his nose to smell his grandfather in the building,
which is still weird. Okay.
well, I mean, he's a polar bear. He should be able to do that. That at least logically made sense.
Okay.
And the fact that Norm's grandfather sent the message back through the lemmings, do not save me. Be a king, because you're the one who's going to be king. He didn't beg. He didn't do anything crazy. He's like, go do your job. And then if you got time, come take care of me. Otherwise, I will see you in the afterlife. Basically.
Yeah.
So it's like, they didn't kill him. And there wasn't this whole thing. It's like, I got to save my grandpa. I think there was that at one point. But it was not it was never this point where it's like, I've got to pick one between the other. The actual plan that involved getting grandpa was because Norm needed another polar bear to do something.
Pretty much.
That was it. And it's like
kind of a dumb plot.
It's a dumb plot point, but it's like, okay, I appreciated that. If you have this character in there and you're gonna put him in New York and have him captured by Mr. Green, it doesn't take the whole movie for you to stupidly realize that the main villain of this thing is the one who's got your grandpa.
Yeah.
So Norm had some intelligence.
Some. Some, if you can see this, some.
Yes. Do you have any other likes?
I would say my number 2 would be like there's some talent behind what was going on.
Yes.
Some talent. Be like you can tell where like they're trying to do their best with their little budget, but it's not very well. It's not great.
That's because this is a film that took first takes and didn't take any others.
Apparently, but like you can see like there are some talent behind things, but it's just squandered beyond belief. But yeah, you can see some talent. You can see a glimmer. Be like you get a crack in the fissure. It's just like you can just see it, just a little bit. You know, it's like the Monkey King stuck in the rock. You can see him, but he can't get out.
Right.
Yeah.
I followed that reference.
Good.
I don't have another like.
Oh, okay. So let's get into
because you kind of covered my second one, which was, you know, there is some talent here. It's not like the last couple where it's like they hired some people who were walking past the building.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, that's not fair to say of Warriors of Virtue. I just realized, it's like, no, there were good actors there. It's just they were on something.
It was be like we have to make a Power Rangers Ninja Turtles film with kangaroos. Not very well done either.
That's for some reason references a Quentin Tarantino film.
True.
That was Quentin Tarantino film, The Warriors, right?
I don't know.
Where he says, "Warriors, come out and play."
I don't remember.
Because that's from another movie.
Yes, that is.
And I remember hearing it in that film and going, "Y'all are making that reference here? That wasn't a kid's film." Anyway,
yeah.
Enough about Warriors, and Warriors of Virtue.
Yeah.
I don't have. That's pretty much the end of my likes. What is your first dislike for this film?
Dislike, it is poor storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely poor storytelling. Be like you have so many plot holes that are just in this movie that they set up and they use nothing with. One, the love interest, they set that up, goes nowhere. You have oh my gosh, how the Norm's friend, his human female friend wants
Vera. Vera.
Yeah, Vera. How Vera wants to get her daughter in this grand place and the whole bit, and you got Mr. Green who is be like, "Oh yeah, I'll agree if we do this," and it's just like it goes nowhere. Like hardly any of what's going on in this film. Be like you have Norm, who apparently can talk to people, in somehow with a proper English American accent, and that's never explained. Like heck, none of anything.
There are no explanations.
No explanations whatsoever. It's like they decided it's like, oh, our audience is too stupid, so we're not going to give them the understanding of what's going on. But there again, be like, shame on you for thinking that young children are not interested in story, are not interested in character, are not interested in anything except stupidity. This movie is stupid, and you're making your audience. You're playing like your audience is dumber than a brick because they're not going to ask a billion questions. Well, guess what? Kids ask questions all of the freaking time, and you are doing a disservice to your own viewing audience when you're not giving explanations. Be like, make it funny, make it quirky. Granted, this movie is not funny at all in any fashion or form. It's stupid. It's not even funny stupid. It's just stupid.
It's when someone makes a joke and the joke does not land.
Yeah, it'd be like
at all.
It goes, be like most jokes go dumb, right? Jokes in this movie, they go dumb, and they just go flying off somewhere else because it's not funny. They're bad references, but I'll get there. But story-wise, it's abysmal storytelling. Like, oh my gosh, there again, plot threads go nowhere. We have Norm, who is claimed to be like he's the king of the North. we're never giving any explanation why he's supposed to be the king of the North.
Because he's the grandson of the king of the North.
Yeah, he's the grandson of the king of the
So
North.
it's entirely
and his older brother, it's his older brother who's supposed to be king. Or
except that he's not the one that is going to get it.
yeah, which is
Because
weird.
his older brother is too busy performing for tourists, literally making performances for the tourists who are coming up here.
Yeah,
Okay, hang on.
yeah, stupid.
Oh, I'll get there in
Yeah.
a minute. Finish.
Finish him.
No, finish your first, just
Yes,
like,
that's-
then I will open up into mine.
I gotcha. So, in conclusion, this story is stupid. It's doing a disservice to its own audience, and all the reviews I've seen and people who have talked about this movie is like you would see little kids. Again, this is a little kids film. Be like walking around how bored they are in this film. If your audience is bored with the movie, how do you think the adults are going to feel about your film?
Mhm.
Now, granted, understanding this is supposed to be a direct to,
It was supposed to be a direct video
Yes.
film.
but then they decided to be like, oh, yeah, this will do great in theaters. What were you thinking? But overall,
This actually worries me if we ever do any other these straight to DVD toy films
oh gosh,
that have come up in the last 15 years.
Yeah. Cringe the moment. But this is a terrible story. Be like the storytelling is abysmal. Like one, you have Norm who is be like he wants to save the Arctic. He wants to save his home.
Fair.
He wants to save his world. Fine. And so what he does, he goes to New York to audition for the commercial for the condos to go work for the guy who's going to. And here's the thing. Be like, one, the corporation where Mr. Green works, be like, their approval rating was 3. Was a 3. And so if Norm would have done nothing, it would have never happened. So Norm going to New York, getting the audition, becoming the mascot of this company, and causing its ratings to go up, where they get funding for it. They get funding for this thing. And they're like, and now everything that's going on, everything that's gone wrong is Norm's fault because he decided to leave.
Yeah.
For no reason. Excuse me. But like, it's so stupid. It's like, one, why in the world would you put condos in the Arctic? I know it's a stupid plot idea, but there again, even one of the characters does say this is a stupid idea. I agree with the character. Like, this is
A lot of characters say
would
this
be
is
great
a stupid
citizens.
idea.
Yeah. So the entire premise of the film be like could have been Norm be like knows all this information beforehand, and there again, it's only a plot to figure out where the grandfather is and why in the world is he with Mr. Green. We're never explained. All except be like, oh, I had to run it with a nasty polar bear, and apparently the people in New York are too stupid to realize that this is an actual polar bear, which he doesn't look like a polar bear. He looks like a white dog. Because here's another thing. So you have the polar bears from the Coca-Cola commercials, right?
I wish.
They look all nice and cute and fluffy. They're appealing to look at. Then you have Norm of the North.
I would like to point out that the Coca-Cola polar bears were animated in the early 90s.
Yes.
And look computer animated.
Yeah.
When the technology was still bad. Now, granted, they were animated a lot of times over the years, but but the first commercials.
Yes.
I actually got to look that date up.
But
When
anyways,
did the Coca-Cola polar bears get announced? Because I know it was a while because my
Yeah.
mama has been collecting the things for a while.
But overall, be like, this story makes no sense. It's a terrible story. Be like, the story could have been that Mr. Green, Mr. Green decides to be like, he wants to make condos. He doesn't have the he can't make them because he doesn't have the approval ratings. So all he had to do is give Norm that information, and Norm never leaves the Arctic. Story over.
Okay.
Like be like none of this happens. But then Norm just decides that because the stupid seagull decides to be like, oh, you need to go audition for this. Why? It's stupid.
So the Coca-Cola polar bears.
Yes.
While there has been a thing with Coca-Cola polar bears actually going back a lot farther,
Yes.
the ones we think of, that commercial called Northern Lights featuring a polar bear drinking Coca-Cola and watching the Aurora Borealis was in 1993.
3 people, and this came out in 2016.
And it looks like this.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks good. Now,
Gorgeous.
granted, it was made for a 480i television.
Yes.
And you can claim that maybe the Coca-Cola spent more money on their polar bear than Norm of the North spent on its entire film because of the time period. But here's the thing. This movie came out what year?
2016.
2016.
Yeah.
That is 303, 13, 14, 15, 16, 13, no, 23 years after a polar bear commercial made by Coca-Cola.
That actually looks like bears.
And it looks like garbage.
Yes, it looks like trash.
You could claim. Granted, let me play devil's advocate for a hot second.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is not meant to be a realistic depiction of the polar bear, which admittedly, the Coca-Cola polar bears are more realistic intentionally than this one is. This is meant to be a cartoon reminiscent of a newspaper comic strip character.
Fair.
Why then does he look like the discarded painter's sponge from painting black on a piece of when doing outlines that black, maybe gray, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It looks like a paper towel that's been wadded up after you washed with it.
You're not kidding.
That's what it looks like.
Yes, it does.
It looks like one of those paper towels after you've gotten it wet, so you can wipe something down, and you've kind of been cleaning on something for a while because you really should have thrown it away, but you don't want to get another paper towel. So you just keep going to it, and you pick it up, and it's this wad of white grayish paper that's kind of sort of falling apart. That's what Norm looks like. That is what he looks like.
You're not kidding.
And I'm like, why is this the design of your character? Why? And I like to think it's like, okay, maybe this is just they designed this. Maybe the rest of the textures in this film will look better because there are going to be different ways you would approach drawing some of these characters, even with the art style obviously started with Norm. Okay, the Lemmings, which I will have more to talk about later. The Lemmings, they don't look like they have fur.
No.
They are brown textures with little bumps to pretend to be fur. They don't look like this, like they should. Sorry, for those of you who are listening to the audio version, which is like 95% of the people who listen to the show. I just held up a tribble that I, of course, have hanging from my microphone stand. The humans. Granted, I stated, like I said, this is supposed to be caricature newspaper-esque design.
Yeah.
That style was never meant for 3D.
You're not kidding.
But letting that go aside.
Let it go, please.
You had to say that.
I did.
Because
you can't hold it back anymore.
Okay, let's start with Mr. Green, the ugliest human in this film.
Oh, well,
now granted, he's supposed to be slimy.
He's supposed to be the villain.
Sleazy. You're supposed to feel dirty after watching a scene with him, except you don't. because he's not really that interesting a villain.
No,
You want to know why?
Why?
Because he figures out in the first 5 minutes after meeting Norm that he's a polar bear who might be connected to the other polar bear he's got in his basement, and he goes to try and shoot him at a sushi restaurant, and then doesn't do anything for like half the film afterwards.
No, and his rating keeps going up and up and up. Why? Because Norm, he's entertaining, and he's actually a bear.
Vera is a mannequin.
You're not kidding.
And her daughter is one of those weeble wobbles that don't fall down. That's what she looks like. I'm sorry. The only character I was actually impressed with, and that is a mighty big description for how I actually felt about it. The only character I had I felt good about was Lawrence. Okay. Because his polar bear costume that you see him take half it actually looks halfway decent, and you can actually kind of see even the little holes in the eyes that the actor sees out, and he looked halfway. He's like, this was like the one competently designed character in this art style,
right?
This is an ugly film. I didn't even talk about the stupid pelican Socrates, who looks like he was designed to be played by John Oliver. You know who I'm talking about?
John Oliver.
John Oliver.
Who's that?
He was a correspondent on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart back in the day, and now he has a show on HBO. Sorry, on Max. Used to be HBO Max. That's basically the Daily Show, but it's him doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's who this guy looks like, because it's like the stereotypical British person. He's the guy who played Zazu in the 3D Lion King.
Oh,
that guy.
Okay, got it.
It looks like they designed this pelican to be played by him because he looks like a caricature of John Oliver.
Okay,
and then they couldn't get John Oliver to do it, so they got somebody else. I can't think of who it was now. I'm just watching this and going, why? Why? All these characters, of which you could have killed half of them for the amount of good they do. Why do you include these?
Yes. Please give us the answers, because we're desperately don't want to know.
In our chat, Kirk says, from our last episode,
yes,
he says, admittedly, haven't seen this, but my kids loved it when it came out.
How old were your kids?
There's a question. I'm going to, granted, we are looking at it as adults, and we're seeing the bad stuff, and there's a lot of bad stuff in this. I'm not saying kids couldn't enjoy it, but I am not of that age anymore. And this is just issues I have general looking at this that make me go, oh, please do not go down this road. Please do better than this. I'm not saying you kids can't enjoy this, but do better, please.
Yes, agreed.
What's your second dislike?
All right. It's supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah.
This is humorless. This be like, if you're trying to be a comedy, be a comedy. This movie be like, with all its very terrible dated references, puns, memes, whatever, bad jokes. Like when you get oh crap, who was the who played Norm?
Rob Schneider.
Yeah, Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider is known for being a fairly decent comic. Definitely back in his day.
Yeah. And I know
he's not funny.
He's not one of the comics I follow at all, but I do know he was. If he was big enough to make it into movies, I assume he was a pretty decent actor.
Yeah, he was
a decent comedian.
He was a fairly decent comedian. He's not funny. No one in this film is funny. There's no humor to this film whatsoever. There's nothing to this film.
May I play devil's advocate?
Okay, play devil's advocate in this point. I dare you.
Comedy is always subjective. What's funny to me and what's funny to you is not necessarily funny to anybody else.
Okay, fair enough.
And vice versa.
Okay.
2,
It's
This is-
still stupid.
This is cringe humor.
How is this? Okay.
This is not humor that is designed to be clever, to be fun. It's not even. It's not puns at all. It's not
Mhm.
clever wordplay.
Mhm.
It is meant to be. Let's do. It's not even slapstick.
Okay.
This is what humor can we do that would make most people go, "Ew," but will be funny in context. That's what it's trying for.
Yeah, and it fails.
It doesn't do well.
It doesn't
But
do well.
cringe humor was the big thing at the time this movie came out.
Oh, okay.
It was everywhere on the internet, and this movie, I think, was trying to get into it. I don't think it did very well with that.
Yeah,
but
sure. So one of our listeners,
Kirk
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 mentioned
says his children were 3 or 4 at
3
the
or
time.
4 years. Okay, that makes sense for this film.
Right. This
They
is
would have
a
enjoyed it at that age.
yes. Though,
But
SpongeBob
oh,
would probably have been a better choice.
Yeah, agree.
in my opinion.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, be like for a movie that's supposed to be a comedy. Now, Grant, I understand your points. I do
My
understand.
points were not to dissuade you.
Yes.
My points were, let me explain what was happening, and then we can decipher exactly why it doesn't work.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, you can have like cringe comedy the entire time. Be like, at least make me laugh, make me chuckle in some capacity. Make it where I feel humor. What's going on? There are points where, like, when the grandfather allegedly dies at the end of the film, be like, it's like, oh, the character died. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. They actually did something that has emotional grip to it.
Oh, please. I knew that was a shadow death the minute it happened.
I know that.
You know what I mean by shadow death,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, shadow death. Yes.
But you know what character I'm referring to. I'm not saying it's a death because it's the character didn't die. I'm saying
Yes.
it reminds me of a character from a movie I watched as a kid with a character named Shadow. Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of that film, there's a part where you are convinced Shadow is dead.
Oh, yeah.
Because he can't get up out of the hole,
True.
and there's no way the dog and cat can tell the humans where Shadow is.
Yeah.
And then at the last minute,
Yeah.
Shadow comes over the hill, obviously injured, but he worked his way out there, and they do the whole run thing and all that kind of stuff. And that's a powerful moment in that film.
It is.
That's what they're trying to do here.
And it's
Except, no,
abysmal.
it didn't work
It's abysmal execution.
because we knew it was coming.
we
It was
knew
no,
it was coming.
there was not that tug at the heartstrings. Like, I
No.
didn't even care when he fell off the stupid boat.
Yeah. Because, like, well, I watched it and I was like, oh, they killed my grandfather off. Cool. I hope he stays dead. He didn't. And there again, the comedy, going back to my point, the comedy in this movie be like, it's either supposed to make you cringe, which it does in some ways.
But it's not funny cringe.
It's not funny cringe. It's just like, oh my gosh, that is terrible. That was a terrible execution. And then I get into the lemmings.
Hang on before you get into Lemmings, because that is my second dislike. The Lemmings are trying to be minions
They are.
and failing.
Miserable.
Because here's the thing, minions are actually funny.
Yes, they are.
They are overplayed in their films,
Yeah, we've already reviewed two of their
But-
films.
but they are not usually the thing. They at least have funny moments. They elicit chuckles and
Yes.
laughs.
Mhm.
Here, okay, first off, let me touch on the most overplayed joke in this film involving the Lemmings.
Oh gosh, no.
The
No.
fact that the Lemmings are
No.
indestructible. And it's one thing, it's like, oh, they're gonna get hit, but then bounce back up.
Yeah.
If they'd have done it like that most of the time, I'd have been fine.
Mhm.
Maybe on the first one you do the are they fine thing before they pop back up like popcorn.
Mhm.
That would be fine. You give it you that 3 or 4 seconds. Is it actually fine? Because when they are squished, they actually look like they're in pain. But then they pop back up like nothing's the problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is how they are. It's like, oh, you guys are indestructible.
Looney Tune characters.
Right. And they do that a couple more times throughout the film.
It's dragged
And
on.
they drag the joke every time. It's like, oh, they're okay, aren't they? Boop. Okay, yeah, they're fine. Ha ha ha, they're indestructible. Ha 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 ha. And the worst one is at the very end.
Remind me which one that is.
They're having the end of movie dance party.
Oh gosh.
And
Yes.
Norm attempts to crowd surf on the lemmings and of course squishes them. And so you've got a Norm shaped lemon pie thing right there. It looks like you know those little poppable things for because it looks like that, except it's shaped like Norm.
Yeah.
And they even do the whole thing. Wait for it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They're indestructible. It's like, and that one was longer than the others. It was longer than the first one.
Yes.
And I'm like, why are you doing this? This was kind of funny the first time. You killed the joke the rest of the time, so you do this last one and you play it out longer. Are you trying to make us think, oh, maybe the lemmings aren't indestructible? Maybe Norm finally killed some lemmings.
He killed his little
Disney killed more. The Walt Disney Corporation killed more lemmings in a documentary than this guy did. You know what I'm referring to. By the way, lemmings are not so stupid that they will follow each other off a cliff. That was Disney trying to get something funny, and half the time they were throwing the lemmings off the cliff themselves off camera. Fun fact.
Which movie you're referring to?
It's a nature documentary Disney did way back in the day.
Oh.
Involving the Arctic.
Oh.
And they were showing the lemmings, and they were showing that the lemmings were what they said was that the lemmings were so stupid they would follow each other off a cliff to their deaths. And they're not actually that stupid. That was the Walt Disney Corporation throwing the lemmings off the cliff, because they weren't just watching the lemmings walk up to the cliff and then that would make sense.
Yeah.
No, it was literally the camera is parked over the edge, facing down, and you see this lemming fall. And what was really happening is some director was off screen going, boop, pick another one up, boop, pick another one up.
Oh my
boop.
gosh, that is so cruel.
Yes, that's cruel.
It's cruel.
I don't remember what the documentary is, but this is the thing that happened.
I'm pretty sure this is not on Disney Plus.
It is not on Disney Plus. Or if it is, I hadn't found it. And I don't remember the name of it, so I haven't gone and looked. But this happened. And this is the source of the idea that has plagued everyone about lemmings. There is even a video game based off this concept called Lemmings.
Really?
Yes. So this is the first time I've seen lemmings, that weren't so stupid that they would follow each other stupidly off a cliff. They changed that by making them indestructible and then make the stupid poppables joke throughout the entire film. I think they're called poppables. I could be wrong there.
Could be.
And then half the time they are the lemmings ex machina throughout this whole thing, because apparently they can do anything.
Yeah. Literally.
I hate these stupid things.
Yeah. And the joke that got so boring, like they dragged this one joke. I think they did it twice, I think, with the lemmings peeing into something. Peeing and fart joke.
Did it. Okay, first off.
Yeah.
They do it in Mr. Green's office's secretary's waiting area.
Yeah.
Where the rest of the ones are. And they do this long one. It's like,
oh my.
It's one of those things where if they'd have done it short, I wouldn't have liked it, admittedly, but I could have at least stood it better, but it kept.
They just dragged it out more and more.
Going. And at one point you're going, are we done?
Yeah.
Is this supposed to be funny? I know you're supposed to be trying to make it awkward, and maybe that would work, but no, this is not funny. Yeah. I don't know why you think this is funny. This is actually disgusting.
Yeah, be like, it's
and
like,
then,
oh, they just had a long flight. You were in a freaking house the entire time.
You had toilets.
Running water. Huh?
You had toilets.
Yeah, which they obviously used. So why are you making this joke about
and they
do it, to hold it?
And they do it again when they pee on the little tree later on in his office. 5 seconds after this.
Yeah.
Why? It was not that funny to begin with. Why did you repeat this joke?
because they think they're funny and they're not. It wasn't a funny film. It was trying to be a certain type of humor, and it failed.
It failed miserably. What is your third dislike?
Because you've already done yours.
Yeah, I kind of jumped in on yours because it was also my second.
Yes.
So
okay, design and execution. Poor design and execution. So here's why.
Yes, Norm is still alive. He wasn't executed very well.
Execute him.
Finish him.
Execute order 60.
Get over here. Sub-Zero wins.
That would have been a better conclusion to this film. But be like, you have the design of the animals, including Norm, who's supposed to be a freaking polar bear, but he doesn't look like a polar bear. He looks like a white dog.
Pretty much a big white dog.
A big white dog. It'd be like,
now,
all
granted,
the polar bears don't look like bears. There again, goes back to our first reference.
His girlfriend is the closest one that looks like a polar bear.
And oh my gosh, those eyes. Oh my gosh.
So she's supposed to be cute and adorable and sell plushies.
Oh my gosh. If they sold merchandise to this, oh gosh. I'm not surprised they did, but still. Oh my gosh. Like design wise, the characters look abysmal. The humans look worse. People. Be like, if you haven't seen the film, be like, don't go bother. Be like, if you want to go watch something cringy, go watch it. It's still on Netflix for a time. But oh my word, the design aspects, character design is horrendous. Be like, I understand there again, some creativity was there, a little bit. There again, cracking the fissure, cracking the hole, cracking the wall or what have you. But this, oh my gosh, like the killer whale. Oh my gosh, anytime that stupid whale showed up, I was like, okay, that looks bad. The reindeer didn't look bad. Let's say that.
Admittedly, I will admit the scene where the killer whale shows up and he's doing the dancing in the thing, and the other says, "How many times have I told you this is not Orlando? This is the Arctic." And the whale stops and thinks like, "Okay, what am I gonna do?" He sees the seal and he eats them. That got me a giggle.
That was actually
funny.
That was actually funny.
I was like,
this movie actually had one giggle.
It had one joke.
And it was actually funny. It was crap. Otherwise, going back to the design, the backgrounds so simple. They're even in focus most of the time. They're out of focus. They're blurred. The whole I'm like, what in the world's going on?
Let me refine that.
Okay,
it's not that they're just out of focus. It's that they're out of focus when they should be in focus.
Exactly.
Because they're poorly made and they were trying to distract you from them existing.
Yes, exactly. And imagine if they had this in HD. Oh my gosh. But yeah,
wait, we were watching it in HD.
We were watching in HD.
Imagine 4K.
Oh my gosh.
Or worse.
Where's the bleach?
8K.
Bleach in my eyes. Thank you very much.
This was put in a theater and it would have been at 8K.
Oh my gosh. Scary, people. Scary. Like, yes, never release this film ever again in theaters if you know what's good for you.
To quote Rick Moranis in Spaceballs, never show this again. Ever.
So yeah, the character design, backgrounds, models, the whole enchilada. Like, oh my gosh, what were they thinking? There again, understanding this was supposed to be a direct-to-video movie.
Yes.
That they decided they'll throw it in the theaters for some stupid reason. Now, granted, the movie made money. I don't know how. It made money on its DVD release. How?
It made money because people took their kids to the theater so they didn't have to be at home in the middle of winter.
That's true.
That's why it made money.
That makes sense.
And there are other choices that would have been out at that time would probably have been Oscar bait.
True.
Which no kid wants to watch.
That is true. But design-wise of characters, execution of characters is abysmal. Like, even background characters, they literally just blur, just go out of focus for no reason. You don't understand why. And just over and over again be like, the Mr. Green, it's like, I understand trying to energetic and bouncy and, rubbery and stretch. pull and stretch kind of characters. I get that. Our Barbie doll character who does virtually nothing.
Oh, you mean Suki?
Suki.
That's not her name, but she reminded me. I think it's Suki on Jersey Shore.
Okay.
That's who she reminded me of.
Okay.
You don't know who I'm talking about, do you?
I think so, but I'm not sure what your references refer to.
The secretary?
No,
I'm assuming that's what you mean by the Barbie doll.
No, the main girl. The
Vera?
Main, yeah, Vera.
Vera ain't no Barbie doll.
Oh, I agree, but it's just more like Barbie doll. Just blank, nothing. Like there again, character development goes nowhere.
See, Vera is an Old Navy mannequin.
You're not kidding. That's a better description.
You know, the ones with the creepy smiles?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're not kidding. But there again, design and execution are poor in this movie. It's so there again, it's supposed to be a direct to film, direct to DVD, or direct to be like, go and pay for this movie. Because there again, like what Drew said, when it came to be like watching the trailers to this thing made you not want to go watch it.
Yeah. Because I
That
looked
should
at
have
it.
been a clear sign. Don't put this in theaters, put it out on DVD and just let it sit there.
When I saw this, saw the commercial for this, Grant, I actually saw it on a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was watching Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 for some reason.
Okay.
Besides that, I do remember seeing this trailer in front of in front of that movie,
Yeah.
or it's in front of a movie at that time. It came out, and I remember thinking, "Oh, good night. Why are they putting that out? That looks so cheap,
Bad.
and bad." It's like, what? This? No, don't do this. Why would you do this? I mean, good night. The Smurfs look better than this. And bear in mind, I was thinking the 3D, the live action Smurfs, which I'd never like to look at the live action Smurfs.
Yes.
But anyway.
But oh my gosh, design wise is terrible. The execution's even worse.
Here's the thing, and this is going to go into my third dislike. These designs would probably have been fine in 2D.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not in 2D. It's in 3D because 3D is cheaper.
Yes.
It's very obvious this was animated in a cheap 3D software.
Yeah.
Not a lot of money was put into it.
True.
It was probably cranked out as fast as they could.
True.
Actors, the directors chose the first take from every actor they had. So even the good acting in this is still questionable choices when it comes to editing.
Yes.
The design of most of the characters baffles me.
Yes.
The buildings look like they came from an asset pack, including the condos, which I can actually tell you what I can't tell you what asset pack it came from. I do know what building they were trying to be. Have you seen pictures of the Walt Disney Concert Hall in Los Angeles?
Yes.
It looks like that.
It does.
All those condos look like that. And I'm looking at it going, who would want to live in that? I don't care if it's in the Arctic or in the Bahamas or in the middle of New York City. It looks gaudy and awful, and it's pretty much meant to be an art piece that you're supposed to see in one place and never seen again. And plus, if I remember correctly, the original building is one of those ones where if you look at it from certain angles, you go blind in the middle of the daytime because the mirror it mirrors the light. It kind of makes a heat. It concentrates heat like a magnifying glass does, burning ants.
Oh gosh.
And you're gonna put this on every you're gonna use this design for every condo in your subdivision in the Arctic. Why? I'm not even talking about the stupidity of building condos in the Arctic because I want to be fair here.
Fair. Okay.
Because the problem here starts from the very beginning.
Very true.
Tourists
Yes.
on a cruise ship regularly are going up here and looking at the polar bears.
Yes.
Okay. First off, there are Alaskan cruises.
Yeah.
I think you can see polar bears on them. But they don't get that close.
No.
You don't get off of the boat to go look at the wildlife. You see them from the deck. And not only that, even if they do get close, it's going to be on a much smaller boat so you can drive up there that can then speed away when the polar bear decides, humans look hungry. Humans look tasty. I am hungry. I am bear.
Hear me roar.
Yes.
Roar.
Now, granted, this is a cartoon universe. The rules of reality are relaxed significantly.
Yes.
But why do most of these people not look cold?
Oh my gosh, yeah. They look like they're just on a warm summer day.
Yes, this is the Arctic.
Oh, like, no.
Are
oh
you
my gosh, I'm cold.
are you trying to tell me that this may be at some future point when global warming or climate change or whatever it's being called now has gotten so bad that it's a nice crisp 40 degrees in the Arctic? Is that what you're telling me?
Maybe.
Because if that's the case, you ought to tell me that and get it out of the way instead of just alluding to it. Then I can understand what I'm looking at. Secondly, why is it but no human has thought it weird at all that the animals are doing dance numbers for them?
And
In
like,
the Arctic, they are wild animals. You find it a surprise that you can talk to two of them
yes.
because that's weird.
Yes.
But why do you not also find it a surprise when they are pretty much dancing around to a Beyonce Knowles knockoff song? Actually, it wasn't Beyonce. It was more Britney Spears.
Yes.
And either way, side note, they only had one song, the lyrics in this film, and they overplay it again and again.
Yes.
and
oh
again
my
and again.
gosh. No.
And you don't actually, you're not able to hear the lyrics real good until you get to the end. And then if you have subtitles on, you actually can see what the lyrics are. I'm going, why is that in a kid's film?
And it's not as bad as Bop. Let's say that.
I would have rather had him bop.
Yeah, you're not
That would have
kidding.
worked better for this film.
A little more catchy too.
But back to my point, which I am getting to. No human in this film, for the most part, believes that Norm is an actual polar bear.
Which makes no sense.
And the only reason they don't think he's a polar bear is because he can talk. They think his costume is that good. Now, granted, in universe, not to us, obviously, but in universe, they ought to know what a polar bear looks like.
You would think.
And you ought to be able to spot a polar bear at a distance. And if it does anything that does not polar bear-esque, then it's probably not a polar bear. And you want to know what Norm does throughout this film? He acts like a polar bear. He talks like a polar bear. He moves like a polar bear. The way the polar bears do it. And you think maybe, oh, you're looking too much into it. The people in the costumes who Norm is trying to beat are obviously not polar bears, but that people can tell that they're not polar bears, but they can't tell Norm is. And Norm is acting realistically in universe as way polar bears would, to the point where it scares the living daylights out of Mr. Green 3 times before Mr. Green decides, oh, I'm going to trank him up in the sushi restaurant.
Yes.
Okay. Then your point about the fact that the way he's going to save the Arctic is by selling the Arctic. Now, throw away the fact that it's dumb to build homes in the Arctic anyway, because they kind of at least explain that we don't care if people want to live up there or not. We're just trying to sell them on the idea, because we know nobody's going to want to do it. We're just trying to get money. And of course, the head of the Polar Council is in on this. And it's like, if you're the head of the Polar Council, why do you need the approval rating to go up? Just let him do it, and you'll get your money. That's how the real world works. So half the time, they don't care how the public reaction feels about screwing over the environment. They just do it. And that's the thing. This is partially an environmentalist film.
Yeah, exactly.
Partially. If it had been a full-on environmentalist film, save the Arctic, don't let the polar bears lose their homes. If they had stuck on that, I actually think this film would be better.
Yeah, I agree.
But it doesn't stick with that. It does all this other stuff. It has this one idea and it goes that way. It has one idea against it. And all of the plot lines in this film, all 15 of them, which I may be exaggerating how many there are.
Just a little.
Don't make any sense. Case in point, the climax of this film.
Gosh.
Okay. Norm at this point is famous. He has gotten the approval rating up there to the point where it's just as he's about to actually give his impassioned speech about don't let Mr. Green build his condos. And I think Mr. Green plays a recording that because people in this movie are stupid.
Yes, very stupid.
Plays this recording of that's obviously words Norm has said, played in a certain order, but obviously not said in that order originally, over a loudspeaker and a blimp. And people go, oh yeah, that's what let's build, let them build the stuff in the Arctic. Yeah. Now, granted, I disagree with the whole idea. Get your approval rating up high enough that then they'll listen to you. It was never Norm's approval rating they were trying to get high.
Yeah, exactly.
Norm playing for Mr. Green. It was getting Mr. Green's approval high, which means why would you work to get it up that high and then say, don't let him do this, and that you think that actually will do something? But that's beside the point. They go and talk after all this. Norm's feeling not disheveled, but down.
Yeah.
That, he did all this work and it's all for naught, which I could have told you.
Could have told you that.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. Olympia, which is the daughter.
Yeah.
She's the smartest person in this film.
Yeah.
And it's not because she's especially intelligent. It's because she's smarter than everybody else in this film because everyone else is stupid.
True.
But he feels bad that now her and her mother Vera are now going to have to, he's still got to do his thing, but it's going to put them in a bad position. He goes and talks to the investors who he happens to find in a limousine going through New York.
Just so happen to know, just happen to see them.
It was the only limousine.
Yeah. The only limousine in New York.
He jumps into the car. They're initially supposed to go, oh, we know who you are. You're Norm of the North.
And he roars at them.
It's like, okay. And then explains, and then off screen tells them the whole thing, the whole bit, what he's doing there, why he did what he did, how Mr. Green is technically still going against the rules. These are the investments who are supposed to be investing in these condos to get them built. And they only agreed to do this if the Polar Council gave their approval. Technically, they haven't signed the documents yet.
Right.
He talks to them. He convinces them not only to not support Mr. Green, but to hire Vera and put in a good word at the school Olympia wants to go to, so she'll go to it to clear out that part of the plot line. Yeah, all that anxiety that they were building up for, or trying to build up, all done, taken care of off screen.
Yeah,
with just a hand wave, say, "You're going to take care of Olympia and Vera, right?" He says, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll take care of them." Whatever. And then they go and jump on the tank, the cargo ship. He and his dad, it's after this. He goes and saves his dad, his grandfather, who was in a truck going to the Arctic. And
why?
Well, no, I think they were going to kill him and then dump him in the river.
Yeah, they were dumping in the river
because that's what they eventually were going to do with both him and Norm after they tranked both of them. They go and chase after the boats that are going out to sea, carrying the houses. Listen to what I just said. I did not say the housing materials. I said the houses. Now, granted, this was introduced far earlier in the film when the show house that they took up there, they brought back whole with Norm and the three
Lovely lemmings.
in the thing. So this was not a new thing. But the fact that they're taking 4 up there on a tanker still makes no sense to me whatsoever. That's not how things work.
No.
And Norm and his grandfather wait until they're out in the middle of the ocean, like I assume close enough to the Arctic so that they could swim there, but not close enough that the ship can land and let the things go, because if the ship gets to the Arctic, that's how they worded it, the ship gets to the Arctic, not if the ship unloads its stuff, not if the houses get unloaded. It's if the ship gets to the Arctic, the investors will have to pay whether the council approved it or not.
Right.
So they have to sink the ship before it gets to the Arctic, but not so far away that they can't swim there. Right?
Right.
How are 2 polar bears going to sink an entire tanker big enough to carry 4 full-sized buildings on it? And I don't mean that they're, right up next to each other. They're spread out on the stupid tanker.
Yeah, this is a huge platform.
This is imagine 4 houses in a neighborhood. That's where these are. Literally, they could put, these are all on one plate, they could pick the thing up, drop it off on the Arctic, and the place would be done. And they somehow
still makes no sense.
They somehow, and I still don't understand how they did this. They somehow caused the ship with a rogue wave or something.
Yeah.
Caused it to tip up and fall over and crash, and they both get knocked out.
Yeah.
Norm wakes up. He doesn't see his grandpa anywhere. Norm swims for his own safety because that's all he can do. He's close enough. He's able to meet up with, his folks and his family and all this stuff. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they're going to crown Norm King of the North because he fought for his family when no one else believed him. And the lemmings got back somehow faster and told everybody everything. That's why they're on his side now.
Yeah, which is, here's another thing. Go ahead.
Then we get to the shadow death. Because Grandpa's not dead. He walks back up and says, "Oh, you can't do this without me now." It's like, "Oh, Grandpa, you're still alive." Here's a question. Technically, Grandpa's not King of the North right now.
No, he's not. He hasn't.
He hasn't been King of the North since the very beginning of this film.
I think it's Norm's brother who's king.
No, it's his father.
Oh, okay. That's where I was confused. I was like, what the heck?
It's his father. Well, admittedly, his father and his brother look exactly alike. They are copy and pasted.
True.
The only way you can tell them apart is that the brother has a headset on it like he's a stage manager because he's the one putting on all the tourist shows.
Which is still so stupid. Okay, Dr. Claw.
I didn't get to that. Grandpa survived because a passing orca was coming back from his audition with Norm's brother and dropped him off on land, and Grandpa walked back. Boy, Grandpa is fast. I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
What part of what I just said? I'm sorry. And then we get another clip back in New York to find out, Olympia got to go to her school, and Vera's now working for Pablo, the head investor. And, it's all good. Happy endings, blah, blah, blah. What part of what I just said made any sense?
It didn't make any sense.
Where is the sense in this film? I'm not saying you can't be creative and cartoony and fun, and I'm not saying I'm looking too much into it. But here's the thing. This film did not allow me to, what do you call it? It did not allow me to suspend my disbelief. A film to be successful, I don't care how accurate to the real thing it is or how fantastical and crazy and nonsensical it is. If in order for it to be liked and understood, you have to allow your audience to suspend their disbelief that all this stuff is nicely wrapping up so kindly in what appears to be 2 hours.
Yeah.
Granted, time skips, but that's a tool to help you suspend your disbelief with the time compression and everything else. This film is so stupid and nonsensical and does not try to do anything to help you suspend your disbelief that you are aware throughout the entire runtime
Yes.
that you're watching a film. There's never a point where you are pulled into the story. There's never a point where you kind of just, you'll excuse this stupidity because the rest of it is okay. This is just you never get that chance to excuse the film for its silliness because it's not even being silly. It's just not being good. This is the same problem to some degree I had with Leo the Lion. Now, spoiler alert, I ain't giving this the same rating I gave Leo the Lion. Because Leo the Lion offended me on a levels I can't even explain. Intellectually, creatively, all this. This movie did not offend me like that. But this is not a film I'm ever watching again. Do you have anything else before we rate this film?
No, I think we touched on
because I
it.
gave my coup de grace.
Yeah, this is a terrible film, and be like, yes, if you want to see something cringe and stupid, and probably watch it with a bunch of friends, and watch how dumb this movie is, and critique and bash this film over the head, like, yeah.
I want to say, if you have kids who like this film, like our good friend Kirk does, do not take what we're saying as don't let your kids watch this film.
Yeah.
I'm saying when you turn it on for them, walk out of the room. Just save your own sanity. If they like it, that's fine.
Yes.
Give them something intellectual to kind of munch on, something that challenges their thought processes, makes them look at the world differently. Put on SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, dear Lord.
Because that will challenge them far more than Norm of the North will.
Agreed.
That will make them think about stuff far more than Norm of the North will, because even when this is trying to be educational and propaganda-ish, it fails even at that.
True. This
Do you have
was
a
a
rating
bad
for this
film.
film?
What's your rating?
1.
A 1. Okay. Oh, I thought about just giving it a 0. It's just not a good film. But there again,
I don't know. To me, 0 is something I want to save for the atrociously bad.
Okay. Yeah,
That's just me.
Okay, fair enough.
Granted, I think I am rating this slightly better than The Legend of the Titanic, because I gave that a 0.5.
You did.
So keep that in mind. I like this better than The Legend of the Titanic.
So going with that, I think I would give it a 1. Give it a 1. Be like, it's not a good film. It's not worth watching. It's bottom of the pole kind of crap. Like Emoji Movie was trying to tell a story and somewhat was successful with this. This film doesn't know how to tell a story or keep its story straight, or what it's trying to do is abysmal. So yeah, it's a 1. Don't go watch. Now, granted, if your kids love the film, let them love the film and walk out.
Our opinions,
do something else.
Our opinions should not affect whether or not your kids like the film.
Exactly.
If you want to allow them to watch a film where a bunch of lemmings make a hot tub by farting it,
oh gosh, were they?
You let them watch the film.
Yeah, exactly. I thought they were pedaling, but okay, apparently they're farting. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Wait, you thought they were repelling?
No, like just pedaling their feet.
You know,
that's what I thought.
Appreciate that your interpretation of that was more innocent than mine. But by this point in the film, I thought, oh, they're just going to be disgusting to be disgusting.
Yeah.
So they're going to go with the more disgusting option. Is that paddling or is that farting? I'm going with farting, and I'm sure there's a joke in there about they had too many beans.
Oh my!
That I didn't hear.
Oh my gosh!
Because I'm thinking hot tub.
Yeah.
What's going to make it a hot tub? Gas.
Yeah.
Where's the gas coming from? The penguins.
Penguins. The penguins.
The lemmings surrounding it farting. And that's what's making the bubbles.
Yes.
Anywho,
Oh my god.
next week is our last film of Bad Movie Month.
Yay!
And we are reviewing a George Lucas film.
We are.
Or more accurately, a George Lucas produced film. The last film he produced for Lucasfilm before selling it to Disney.
Yes.
And it's, in fact, technically was a Disney released film as part of the sale of Lucasfilm, included that the movie Strange Magic that he was producing with Industrial Light and Magic would get a release no matter how it was received. And we are reviewing this movie next week.
Yes.
This is a
welcome.
This is a jukebox musical. You know what I mean by that?
It's a jukebox musical.
Yes.
Okay, then.
That means they're going to randomly break out into songs you actually know,
Oh gosh.
whether you want them to or not.
And just
Bear in mind, this is a movie about fairies.
Oh crap. It's on Disney Plus, by the way. It should be anyway.
Yes, it is. It is. In the meantime,
Yes.
we are going to hit intermission.
Mhm.
On the other side, we will be looking at the what we've been watching news and a Morlock Little Christmas.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
This week, we are promoting the podcast Playing Games with Strangers. Playing Games with Strangers is a family-friendly actual play podcast where indie voice actors get together and play tabletop role-playing games. You can listen to the adventure unfold as they roll dice, slay monsters, and have fun. All at playinggameswithstrangers.com. The Cellcast would also like to thank the following patrons: Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, Book of Gaming, and PaulJPowers.com. To get your name read on the show, some art from Jacob, and uncut episodes of the Cellcast, please donate to us on Patreon. So, Jacob, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? Okay. So, as most of you probably know who listen to us on most of our feeds, we did a crossover with Monster on Film Vault with Nate Marchand, where we watched on Netflix Gamma Reborn. Rebirth. Yeah, Rebirth. There again, I really didn't have a whole lot to when it came to Gamera. I have heard this guy talk about Gamera. I have heard Nate talk about Gamera, and I watched this and I was like, I really didn't enjoy this. I really didn't. But it kind of gave me a little inspiration to go see what Gamera was really like. So we'll see there. So I watched that. I watched the most recent episode of My Adventures with Superman. That seems to be going very well. I don't know how long it's gonna go, but I enjoyed it so far. And then I noticed something that recently came onto Disney Plus. This is through the National Geographic, or Nat Geo as some people call it. It's 9/11 One Day in America. I think it's like an 8-part miniseries. And yeah, those be like there again, 9/11, September 11, 2001, a day which anybody who was born they would remember. But yeah, just like really, really in depth. Be like they talk with the responders, firefighters, survivors, average citizens who were there. But it's really intriguing because they go into a deep dive of what happened on that day, and to like see actual footage of what happened. And some of the documentaries out there are gut-wrenching kind of things to watch or listen to. And yeah, this is really good if you want to get into, or maybe your kids don't know what 9/11 is. Be like, sit them down and watch this. It's hard to watch. It does have language because it is Nat Geo and they're not going to hold back.
Mhm.
They're not going to censor anything. And which I'm kind of cringy later on because like it's bad. But they're getting its history. So you need to learn. You need to know what history is. And or otherwise you're doomed to repeat it. So yeah, that is besides Lower Decks, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And of course, X-Men. That's all I've been watching. You?
Before I get into what I've been watching, I'll quick jump back to Norm of the North. Sorry.
Oh,
No.
we got to go back to this again.
This is gonna be quick because it just gets connected, but it's not actually that.
Oh,
I mentioned in the trivia about Salome Jens playing a character in this and in Deep Space Nine, where she played the female shapeshifter, big boss of the Dominion.
yeah.
She was Councilwoman Klubeck in this, aka the villain of this film, technically, the lady on the Polar Council.
Oh, okay.
Just wanted to throw that in there
Okay.
before we get back into talking about more pleasant things.
Yes.
So let's talk about more pleasant things.
Yes.
I have been watching some more of Star Wars Rebels. I am in
Yes.
season 2 now.
Yeah.
Just finished the two-parter that opens that, where the Rebels crew face off against none other than Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
Played by James Earl Jones.
Yeah, because I remember watching that part of the season. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes. So that's where I am in there.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm watching that because of Ahsoka, but I have not watched Ahsoka yet this week. Fair warning. I'm not in a hurry to.
Yeah.
I kind of already have the ending of the episode spoiled, but I don't know everything about it yet. So anyway.
Fair.
Also, I watched a little bit of Power Rangers Dino Fury yesterday.
Okay.
Because I want to get that finished up before Cosmic Fury comes out, which I don't remember what that is. I'm not going to have it finished in time because that comes out this month, and I'm still got a whole season of Dino Fury to watch. So, yeah. Other than that, last Saturday I met Mom in town, and we watched a Hercule Poirot movie that just came out.
Oh, yeah. How did that go?
That movie was The Haunting in Venice. Go watch this film.
Okay.
It is better than Death on the Nile was.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, I will say, if you are a person who does not watch horror films because of you just don't like scary films like that, you may not like this as much. This is not a horror film per se, because everything is explained, but it's shot like it's a horror film.
Oh, okay.
There are moments where you think Poirot is actually talking to a person, and then it's revealed they aren't there.
Oh, that's interesting.
There is a lot of brutal deaths. Like there's 3 deaths throughout the whole thing, and the first one is very brutal because, well, she gets stabbed in the heart by a statue because she fell on the statue.
Oh,
and it's not like she hit it and it kind of broke something and she fell off. No, she falls right on it.
Oh,
and it goes through her. It's like, that hurts. Just like looking at it. So
not a Vlad Impaler impale it. Am I right?
I'm just saying you can see the arm below the body and you can see the arm above the body of the statue.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And this is not how that character died in the book. Because I haven't read the book, but I did some using my normal trivia source for the Cellcast. I looked at it for this film and saw, ironically, the way she dies in the book was how the actual killer tried to kill Poirot in this.
Are you sure you didn't read the wrong synopsis?
No, I am sure. I am sure. It was the trivia was correct.
Okay.
It's not like the synopsis. IMDb, even on the movie we just watched, was not vandalized. It was Wikipedia.
Yes. Okay.
But yeah, that film was good. I do suggest it. What else have I watched this week? I guess that's really about it. Yeah, I was gonna. No. I was watching something before you came over here.
Yes, you were, because you were
And I was in the
laughing very
middle.
hard.
I was in the middle of it when you came in. What was I watching when you were coming?
I don't
over?
know.
Oh, I was watching an episode of the Red Green Show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to finish that episode because that show. If you've never watched the Red Green Show, hey, it's on YouTube now.
Mhm.
It is worth going up and looking up an episode, but it is hysterical. It was it's a Canadian show, sketch comedy show.
Yeah.
That I originally saw on PBS like 20, 30 years ago. Me and my dad stayed up late to watch this.
Oh, okay.
It's still one of my favorite comedies. It teaches you, and it's educational. There are 2 life lessons you can get from the entire show. Do you know what they are?
No.
If the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy.
Fair.
Meaning, if you're butt ugly, be useful, and your woman will still love you.
Gotcha.
Granted, it gets that far, I can't help you. The second one is every episode ends with Red saying, "Keep your stick on the ice." Now, obviously, a hockey reference.
Yes.
But basically saying, be ready for anything.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing to keep in mind. You
Right.
don't know what's going to happen
Yeah.
in life.
Be prepared.
Pretty much. So, yeah, I was watching some of that before you came over. And other than that, that's going to be it.
Yeah.
So,
Now, mind you, I walk up to Studio B's door, and all I hear is this guy chuckling loudly. It's like,
well,
what in the world was he watching?
the sketch they were doing, they do this on a bunch of episodes.
Yeah.
It's a game. It's a game where where Red has to get one of the lodge's colorful members to say something, to say a specific word, and the way he asks the questions should get the answer, but the guesser always says something else. Like in this case, it was the explosives expert, and he had to say the word passion.
Okay.
So Red says, okay, when you are you like explosives, you like setting them off. It's not just your job. You have a blank for it. Obviously, the answer is passion.
Yes.
He says permit. And I'm sorry, that got me at just the right angle. It's like, that's great. Anyway, it's a great show. It's a funny show.
Nice.
I'm not telling the joke very well, admittedly, but that's what it got under me. It's like, okay, you know how when a stupid joke gets you in just the right way,
Yes.
and it just belly laughs you.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, Jacob, what do we have in the news?
The Cellcast News with your host Jacob Heron.
And I will say, if you do not have something, I am going to add it.
Okay. All right. So why think you deal it? So home audiences will get their first chance to watch the cameo package Disney animated 100 years. What is that?
Centennial.
Thank you. I saw the word and I was like, because there again, reading disorders are always fun, right?
Yeah.
So Centennial short film, Once Upon a Studio, next month on ABC. one of our listeners, Heather, thank you so much, posted that in our Cell Nation chat.
If you want to converse with us, go join that group.
Yeah, exactly. Converse is down there. So I watched it and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good because they reuse a lot of the animation from their classics and do new animations for that. And it looks fun. So if you haven't gone to see it yet, go look it up on YouTube. And it should be coming out next month, I believe, October 15th, as part of the Disney 100 programming event. The network, the official trailer for the film has dropped with the announcement. So, second bit of news: Paramount Animation and Temple Hill are joining forces to bring the heroic world of the husband and wife animation alumni. I'm probably going to butcher their name, so I apologize. Yanyar and Carrie Chinley book, Superheroes Save Noah. The illustration story was published by Random House Children's Books in 2022 and will follow by a sequel of Superhero Destroyer World in early 2025. So apparently they're doing an animation about this. I'm not sure because I saw it and I was like, ooh, that sounds interesting. But that's all I have for the news, unless you have something else, Drew.
I have three things. Because it was one of those things like, oh, I have something. And then the more I sat there, go, oh, yeah, there's that too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, there's that third thing. He's not going to mention any of them. Okay. So these first two things I'm getting from Anime News Network. The first is that this is the end of an era. The famed anime purchasing website, Right Stuff, last year got bought by Crunchyroll.
Yes.
And their store is officially now closing down to be rolled into the Crunchyroll store.
Really?
Yeah. So you're not going to be able to buy stuff from Right Stuff anymore, even though that was kind of a tradition in the fandom.
Okay.
In the otaku groups. Is like, oh, you want to purchase the anime instead of just downloading it. Go to Right Stuff. You can buy it there because you can buy, because for a long time you couldn't even find this stuff on Amazon.
Yeah.
And Right Stuff always had it. So
true.
And plus, Right Stuff actually did some of their own productions.
Yes.
Or localizations, including a favorite of ours, Irresponsible Captain Tyler.
Oh gosh, that is hilarious.
And now that's Crunchyroll because it's all got folded into that. Secondly, Studio Ghibli is no longer going to be an independent studio.
Say what?
It has been acquired partially by Nippon TV, a Japanese television company.
Okay.
They have acquired 42.3% of shares of Studio Ghibli, which makes them now the largest shareholder. Now, Nippon TV is one of the members of most of the production companies.
Yes.
For the show, and that's for Studio Ghibli, and that's because they are the ones who generally do the TV release.
Okay.
So now that they are pretty much going to be the primary owner, which I'm sure they would prefer that to Disney, since they probably don't want that to happen. They've actually been trying to get someone to take over Studio Ghibli to keep it independent, including, because the thing is, Miyazaki and the other guy, what is his name? That did Grave of the Fireflies and My Neighbors the Yamadas and Isao Takahata.
Okay.
They are getting old.
Okay.
They need to retire. Except Miyazaki will die in the animation chair. I am half convinced.
Probably.
But they are getting to a point where they don't need to be doing the business side of things at the very least.
Fair.
They tried to get Miyazaki's son Goro, who we will be reviewing his directorial debut later this year, for what that's worth. But he doesn't want. But not only does Goro not want to do it, Hayao also doesn't want his son to do it. Oh, the fact that they mentioned that was like, wow. But yeah, it's getting acquired by Nippon TV. So, I mean, it just means that they're not going to be fully independent. And, if Nippon TV ever gets bought by somebody, that'll happen. But yeah, Studio Ghibli's just no longer going to be independent anymore. I assume everything released through G Kids is still going to be released through G Kids.
You would think so.
Otherwise, I need to hurry and purchase some things. But anyway.
Yeah.
Thirdly, I got this off IGN.
Okay.
And I think technically this was an ad.
Okay.
But Walmart is releasing a box set exclusively of 100 Disney and Pixar films plus bonus feature discs for $1,500.
Are they on
later this year?
Wow, Disney.
It's a big collector's edition.
Okay, fair enough, but still.
And for fun, I looked to see what was on it. Now, some of these things have only been released through Disney Movie Club in the last couple years.
Okay.
Like a Goofy movie.
Yeah.
That was in there. A couple other things. You had stuff from Walt Disney Pictures itself, stuff from Pixar, and stuff from Disney Toon.
Okay.
Like the DuckTales Treasure of the Lost Lamp was in there.
Okay.
The straight to, well, it should have been straight to DVD, but it did go to theaters. Sequel to the Cars franchise called Planes was in there.
Oh, okay.
That's a thing.
Yeah, that is a thing.
I was curious if they would have the guts.
Oh, yeah.
To release Song of the South as a part of this, because literally it's like, this would be the only legal way they would let you purchase this film, as if it were surrounded by 99 other films that they liked, and they didn't. So still there is no legal way to watch Song of the South.
Now if they would have done that, I guarantee they would sell like hotcakes, because people want that film. I'm pretty sure.
Unless you purchase the film from England.
Yes.
And other parts of the European nations.
Mm-hmm.
Because it got released there and it's not offensive there, apparently. I don't know.
Who knows?
Either way.
Wait a minute. Bobo.
Bobo has a copy, apparently, of Song of the South. And I'm guessing his copy is either like the copy I have, or it is a European copy.
Possible.
That's the end of the news. At least my news.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's the news.
All right. Then let's talk about some X-Men.
Previously on X-Men.
Meet the sulky, over-funky, kinda hulky superhero. A two-fisted and electrically transistored superhero. An exotically neurotic and aquatic superhero. The Marvel superheroes have arrived. X-Men, X-Men, it's the day, X-Men, X-Men, coming your way.
Spider-Man and his amazing friends, Iceman and Firestar.
Have yourself a Morlock Little X-Mas is the name of the episode we're reviewing today. This is the Christmas special of X-Men the Animated Series. In this episode, Storm and a grouchy humbug Wolverine go last-minute shopping in Manhattan, only to be caught in life or death crisis involving Leech, the littlest Morlock. somebody had fun writing this.
Yes, just a little bit.
It was directed by Larry Houston and Fred Miller and written by Eric Lewald and Larry Parr. Guest cast for this includes Ross Petty as Ape, Susan Roman as Callisto, John Stalker as Leech, and Kay Tremblay as Annalie. Or as actually Annalie, not Annalie. Anyway, trivia for this one: Storm returns leadership of the Morlocks to Callisto, which Storm won in the episode Captive Hearts back in season 1. Also, this is Jubilee's first Christmas with the X-Men. Do you know what that means?
What?
Considering that it was wintertime in Night of the Sentinels.
That's right.
Every episode between that one and this one have taken place in less than 1 year.
Apparently.
I had no idea. These people's lives suck.
Apparently.
Because they have been in nothing but trouble for something like 50 episodes now. Wow. And this has all been in 1 year. If this had been split across 5 years, the actual 5 years the show is made over, that would stink. But it'd be like, okay, yeah, they're a task force fighting mutants, anti-mutant beings, and you're dealing with things like Magneto, who's trying to take over.
I am Magneto, master of magnet.
I'll admit that was at the last minute because I barely realized what I said after I said it. But all this has happened in the last year. It's like, really? This has literally been X-Men 93 because it's all happened in 1993. Or I guess since the sequel is going to be X-Men 97, this is all happening in 1996. I like to point out that includes 3, count them, 3 time travel episodes dealing with Bishop. Twice dealing with the fat butt from another galaxy, Mojo. Us learning 4 times that Storm is claustrophobic because she was trapped under a pillar when she was a child, and in one of those times she was white for some reason.
Oh my gosh.
We have had not only Jean Grey perish, come back to life, die again,
and they get resurrected
again. We have had Wolverine go from being just a grumpy old guy to finding out his backstory. We have met Catholic devils who we actually appreciate because we love Nightcrawler. In this time period, we have had not only Morph, a character created for the show, become a cult classic character to be brought back not once, not twice, but 3 times, and we still don't want to see him ever again. At least I don't.
You're not alone in this.
This has been a crazy year for the X-Men, and we finally get to their Christmas episode. And I say all that because give Storm a break. She hasn't had time to lead the Morlocks. She's been busy.
But she has neglected them.
She has neglected them, which is why she shouldn't have taken control of them in the first place.
Oh,
no wonder Leech is dying. Storm hasn't been paying attention to them all year. Wait, why would one mutant being there have changed anything in this episode? Because Callisto was there the whole time. She was in charge when Storm wasn't there. What changed? Because now there's no excuse for the X-Men to show up.
Yeah.
Actually, I do like this episode. It is a nice Christmassy-esque episode.
Yeah.
It fits what you want in a Christmas special.
True.
Especially involving the X-Men. And I absolutely love Scrooge Wolverine.
Oh yeah, true.
And how he's really more of the Grinch
He is.
than Scrooge, because his heart has to go 3 sizes so that he can transfuse his blood with Leech, who he may or may not work. It was a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, a Christmas miracle. That's not how transfusions work.
How
Even
do you-
Beast says it.
They say this is comic book logic.
I know, but still.
It has worked like this in the comics.
And in the past, apparently. No. Wait a minute. There was one time it worked, and another time it didn't work.
He said, no. Wolverine said specifically, it worked twice. Once was a long time ago. And the second one?
Yeah. What was a long time ago?
And that one I don't want to talk about. All the others died. It's like, how often have you done this, Wolverine? Actually, I just realized I know who the second one was. Even if the writers didn't. Okay, who? Deadpool.
That sounds logical.
Because Deadpool's been in the show. He hasn't been in any of the Weapon X stuff, but he's been in the show. And you know for a fact he will be in X-Men 97.
Oh, yeah, he will.
Deadpool has become too big a character not to show up in X-Men 97. And he's not only is he going to be aware that there's a different writer team running this thing, he's also going to be aware he's on Disney Plus, and he's going to be aware of the Ryan Reynolds version out on
that's if he's not voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
You know, you're right. It probably is going to be voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
Or just hire Nate Marchand.
No, yeah, Nate Marchand would be a good choice too. But no, I was actually thinking there is someone else who's voiced Deadpool before in the Hulk versus films, and I remember he did a fairly decent job. I just don't remember who he is. I think it was what's his name?
Good question.
The big anime voice actor played the guy in Cowboy Bebop, the main guy.
Steve Bloom.
Steve Bloom. I think it was Steve Bloom.
Okay.
Or heck, just I don't know. I'm sure that Deadpool will show up eventually, because how is that not going to happen? But this is that's off topic. What are your thoughts on Morlock Little Christmas?
Morlock Little Christmas. So I actually made
Morlock Little X-Mas.
Yes.
This is the only time I will pronounce Xmas.
So I did bring up a few points, but like you have Wolverine's dislike of holidays, and which is never really explained. It is more of a
please. It's simple. It's a holiday. Wolverine's grumpy. He's gonna play the grumpy character.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, they will flush it out a little bit more. Maybe this was like a bad time in his life or something. It's like, no, he's just a grumpy character. He's playing Scrooge.
Well, really more Grinch, because Scrooge was.
Yeah, that is true.
The good thing about Christmas Carol is that Scrooge does come around eventually.
That is true. It is
even though at
Grinch.
the beginning you're not supposed to like him. You're supposed to see him as old miser, and by the end you're just as joyous as he is. The Grinch you like from the very beginning.
Yeah,
because he's the Grinch.
That is
and
true.
Everyone loves Wolverine. I'm sorry. I know someone I talked to doesn't like Wolverine, but everyone else talked to is like, oh yeah, Wolverine's my favorite character.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's just more like you get Storm neglection, her neglection of the Morlocks, which I found kind of hysterical, because they were gonna be like, you point out the very obvious, be like, okay, this is her first Christmas as an X-Man. It's just like, wow, all of this is
what a year.
That has been one heck of a year. But you have that, and be like, and like you put it in context to be like, yeah, she really had no time, and then she just like unceremoniously just hands the rod over to Callisto. It's like, oh, this is yours. Like, why did I do this in the first place?
It's a good question.
Yes. So the one that got me the entire time is Gambit and Jean Grey in the kitchen is absolutely hysterical.
And the thing is, this is like the most outside of the Spider-Man crossover.
Yes.
This is the most Jean Grey has done since the Phoenix Saga, the Dark Phoenix Saga.
Yes.
Like, and she's getting mad at Gambit for cooking in her kitchen.
Yeah.
The minute I don't remember what she says, like the minute I need your swampy butt helping me would be the day I quit cooking.
Yes. And
It's
like their whole banter between, it's like, be like, oh, this ain't cooking. Be like, if you put some seasoning on everything, be like, it's just like the banter back and forth that's absolutely hysterical. It's, oh my gosh.
I love the end when they find out that Wolverine, Storm, and Jubilee aren't going to make it back. It's like, they're not coming back. You can't reheat this. Gambit don't make no TV dinners.
And there's another thing. This entire episode, you have like the Morlocks and be like how they live in poverty, but they have each other.
Yes.
And you try to make the like Storm tries to make this whole this little running thing of like, maid family. But at the same time, it's like, okay, why don't you invite the Morlocks and be like, I don't care if you have to transform or be it like the tunnels or whatever, because you're too embarrassed by them or whatever.
You were able to get there, get them on the Blackbird, take them home, and eat Gambit's dinner for the love of Jean Grey.
The love of Jean Grey. Just eat it already. Just not be like, oh, we're gonna microwave it. What the crap? Like, just invite these people over. You're saying be like kumbaya, all mutants are like the whole enchilada. Then invite them over for dinner instead of be like, oh, we'll eat what they're eating.
Yeah. And they didn't have much. That's probably their rations for the week.
Yeah, exactly.
Take them home.
Yeah.
And let them have some of your Cajun turkey.
But oh no, they can't do that because it'll spoil the rug.
They say that?
No, they don't say that, because I'm just, that's my thought, because they won't invite the Morlocks to the Xavier Institute because it'll ruin the rug.
Now, I could maybe get that maybe the dinner that Jean Grey and Gambit were cooking was not big enough to feed both the mutants and the Morlocks.
Right.
But potluck. Transport over, microwave their stew.
Yeah.
Have the more the merrier.
Yeah, exactly.
You potluck this thing, it will go a long way.
Yeah, agreed. And my biggest gripe, now granted, it's comic logic, I get it, but Logan doing the transfusion with the little guy, now granted, he's supposed to be like little Timmy.
Yeah, he's Tiny Tim.
He's supposed to be Tiny Tim. He's supposed to be Tiny
Tim.
The
littlest Morlock.
The littlest Morlock. But oh my gosh, I'm like, wait a minute. Be like, even Beast was right. Be like, this is not sound. This is not ethical. Because be like, yeah, his healing factor can heal people, but also it can kill people. And it's just by a Christmas miracle, be like little, little Timmy survives.
Somehow Wolverine's blood and Leech's blood are compatible.
Apparently.
Why? I don't know. Oh, and let's not forget that all of Jubilee's presents she was buying for people.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Was all food.
And children's toys. Yes. For some reason, there's no children Xavier.
And these are the kids. Yeah, that's the thing. If this was the Xavier Institute, the way the movies showed it, where the X-Men are the teachers or the oldest students, and there's a whole bunch of other students back there, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But we never see anybody else.
No, but this
is just the X-Men themselves.
Yeah, because that's even Xavier says that. It's like, oh, they have a Christmas where everybody's here. Be like, there's no students, it's just the team itself. And it's just like, then why are little children's toys in Jubilee's thing? And be like, unless there's like other characters we don't see, and we see more like the movie tells.
As best I can guess, this is guess.
Yeah.
She was going to take them to Cyclops' orphanage that he grew up in, because that's come up more than once.
It has.
And give them to those kids.
Okay, fair enough.
But they never say that.
No.
I'm thinking, oh, you found something good for Wolverine. You found something good for Jean. You found something good for Gambit. You found something good for Storm. And then you're going, because you're acting like you're gift giving to everybody,
team.
to the team.
Yeah.
who is she buying these presents for?
Yeah, it's just
never
it's
shown.
plot convenience. It's like, oh, here's a dolly,
we don't
here's
have
a plane.
we don't have enough food. Oh, I've got food here. Let's open up these presents. Leech and Annalie.
Mm-hmm.
Good night, Annalie. The most precious. What is if Leech is Tiny Tim?
Yeah.
Then Annalie is Cindy Lou Who.
Yeah, Cindy Lou Who. That's what I kept thinking. It was Cindy Lou Who.
Cindy Lou Stinkin' Who doesn't know what a Christmas miracle is.
Yes. Yeah.
What's a Christmas miracle? Well, if we wait a few minutes, we might see one.
Or we might see Leech die.
Yeah, one of the two. Either way, he will be safe. Either way, he's healed.
Yeah, in some capacity.
But anyway,
yeah,
this is we're goofing on this episode.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But this is a sweet little episode.
Yeah,
it's not meant to be taken too seriously. So yeah, this is not meant to be the Christmas episode. It kind of just happened
to be,
and we did not intend for it to also be on a movie that took place in the snow, involving a polar bear. But yeah, next week with Strange Magic, we're going to be watching the X-Men episodes Beyond Good and Evil, parts 1 and 2.
Nice.
The end of season 4.
Nice.
No, the beginning of the end of season 4. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to point out that we are 7 episodes of the Cellcast away from finishing X-Men, the animated series.
Yay!
I have enjoyed this. Don't get me wrong, but I say I'm ready to move on.
You know what's coming.
That's a lot of orange juice.
Gosh.
So not in the part we're watching.
No, you don't know the half of it then.
But yeah, like I did mention though, between the end of X-Men and beginning of Evangelion, we are going to be looking at the original pilot for the X-Men show that came out that was made 10 years before this show was. Pride of the X-Men. With Australian Wolverine.
Oh my gosh. This way, if you've never seen it, wait for it, people.
So yeah. Join us for that. Do you have anything else before we cut out of here?
Nope.
Yeah, all right. In the meantime, then, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron. And his Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. His Facebook page, Drew's Photobin, to see his photography. His Letterboxd page at GGeorge759. His Twitter at GGeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast, on Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming, on YouTube at Cellcast, on Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from.
But not Stitcher
Please
anymore.
rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell with a single L.
This episode of the Cellcast podcast was not sponsored by Coca-Cola, though if you want to throw some money our way, we'll gladly take it. Okay,
Norm!
Norman. Cheers references, guys.
Yes.
Anyway,